Hi, I'm Carla Page, and welcome to my program. The primaries are Tuesday, June 27th, and it's something because we have early voting, and we want to stress that. I'm honored and delighted, and it's my pleasure to have Mayor Gary McCarthy as my guest. Him and I go way, way back. We really, truly do. And so many people have asked me when he was going to be on my show to talk before the primary. So I have him here with me today. Hi, Mayor. Thanks for coming.
Carla, it's great to be here and see you again. And, you know, it's somewhat interesting where COVID, we haven't been able to get together for actually been a few years, but I've always enjoyed having the opportunity to stop by, have a conversation with you, your audience, and the great work that you are doing now. And just historically, before we went live, you were talking about when you first started a few years ago. But you know, you've got an impressive record and a big following, and I thank you for the time and effort that you put in to help get the messages out to the residents of Schenectady and even now the surrounding area of the good things that are happening and the interesting, sometimes behind the scenes things that are going on.
Sure. No, thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. I do. So I'm going to ask you this right from the top. Why do you want to be the mayor again? Why are you running again?
We've got an impressive record in place. I'm proud of the team that's in place, the relationships that I personally have established, the city has established with other levels of government, whether it's the county, school district, state level, national level. This impressive undertaking and series of projects, there's still work to be done. And I believe that at this point in time, I'm the best one to continue that role as mayor, to build on our past successes and to create opportunities and a vision and a future for this city that a lot of people remember in the past. We went through a period of decline, and we're now restoring so that people take pride in Schenectady. People want to come to Schenectady. People want to invest here. People are mentioning it in a good way, not a negative way.
You do have a track record that is, all of the stuff that I've gotten in the mail, and I know you've been going door to door campaigning, and you do have a track record that's really impressive. So I want to ask you, summer is here now. What are you going to do to keep Schenectady safe? Because we are hearing about things all over the place now that we never heard before. And I wanted to just right away ask you about safety for our city.
And again, you know, the mayor's office and position has wide and diverse responsibilities, but the first and foremost is always public safety. So it's policing, it's the firefighters, it's emergency medical services, it's making sure that the water and sewer systems work, because those are fundamental to the health and well-being of a community. We have ongoing operations for planning, research. We use data-driven policing so that we're looking where events are happening. We're tracking incidents. We want the public's input. We want people to call when they see things that are happening in their neighborhood so that we can deploy resources to stay ahead of the problems. And, you know, crime, it's always unfortunate when people make poor choices and take advantage of their fellow citizens. But we are creating a level of deterrence, a level of follow-up, and the good things that we're doing in the community, investing in our parks, investing in housing, creating job opportunities, I believe also creates a level of deterrence and displaces those people who want to make poor choices and engage in criminal activity or things that are just contrary to what a good society and a good community want to happen.
Yes. And I noticed, too, that when I watch the news, there are a lot of people coming up here now from New York City. And we always had them, but it seems like there are even more coming to the Capital District.
I haven't seen any actual statistics on it. There is some migration, people coming here. I'm not sure that there's more than the past, but there is again, an engagement, the flow from some of the urban areas to the capital region and other places in upstate. And it's we try and welcome people. We want to bring people in because there are job opportunities here. It's a universal problem that businesses, government are having now is finding workers. So we want people to come here. We want them to take advantage of some of the educational opportunities to make sure that as potential employees, they have the skill set that employers need, whether it may be in the restaurant business, other elements of the hospitality. GE did a major announcement 2 weeks ago. They're making a $50 million investment in the main plant here. That's going to create a minimum of 160 new jobs within the green energy field. Those are exciting times. And so at the same time, we have to be able to make sure we've got those workers across the board. So it's whether you're coming out of the high school, taking advantage of the community college, or the colleges within the Capital District. There's really a broad and diverse range of opportunities within the Capital District, which sometimes we take for granted and don't realize how fortunate we are to live, whether it's in Schenectady or the region as a whole.
Yes. I'm glad you mentioned jobs, Mayor, because some people feel differently about that. They feel that there aren't enough jobs here for people. That's what they're saying, and that the same people get the same jobs over and over. But you're saying there are jobs.
There are jobs, and again, it's that matchup where you have to take people, make them aware of the jobs, making sure also that they have the skill set to provide the services that employers want. And so sometimes people are frustrated by some of their own choices where they haven't taken advantage of some of the educational opportunities. They may not be aware of some of the training opportunities that are available not only within Schenectady, but in the Capital District for workforce development. Again, there's a lot of opportunities here, and I acknowledge there's frustration within the community, and we collectively, might even be on the Carla Page show, is how do we get that message out to people to take advantage of the training opportunities, to better understand what jobs are out there, and to be able to match up employees with employers.
Yes, because I'm someone who, when I see someone out there who's homeless, because my platform is people who are homeless and who are hungry, and whatever I can do to help them, I've got a tear in my eye right now because I just hate to see that. But there are a lot of people who are panhandlers here now than ever before. Do people talk to you about that?
Absolutely. And some of it, the panhandling, the simple solicitation is constitutionally protected in New York State. And so we can't just go in and move them out of there. They have a right to be there. It can be an irritant. They weren't there before because there was nobody here with money. Now we have people with money that are in downtown. So unfortunately, it is following some of the success that is happening. But at the same time, we're being more engaged with those people that are homeless, that are underemployed. We've set up a hub system where not only the police are going out, but we send the fire department out, Department of Social Services, there's representatives, mental health institutions to do an evaluation, because what you find is that there's not like a simple solution to homelessness or some of the elements of poverty. You have to go in, do an evaluation. What does the individual need? Do they need drug or alcoholism counseling? Do they need educational opportunities? Housing is one of the major factors to create stability within people's lives. And so you have to go out, engage in a non-confrontational way so that they trust people that they're talking to, whether it happens to be a police officer, whether it happens to be a firefighter, whether it's one of the individuals in county Department of Social Services, you can never quite tell who's going to make that connection with somebody that will become a trusted friend to enable them to understand what services are there, do a true evaluation of what their real needs are. And Schenectady is leading in terms of that outreach. It's not a simple task, but we're doing it at a level that other communities are looking at how Schenectady is implementing that. How do we do the follow-up? How do we get people transition from those undesirable set of circumstances into safe and decent housing, into a level of stability where they can live with dignity and actually become contributing members of society.
Wow. If you're just joining me, I'm Carla, and we're talking to Mayor Gary McCarthy. Primaries are the 27th of June, and the polls are open all day. I think they're open now 6. It's not noon, right? Didn't they change that?
Yes. I'm trying to think how many years ago, but it used to be primaries upstate were noon till 9.
To 9, because I used to always work them.
Now they've changed it till 6 to 9.
I thought so.
And we also have early voting.
Yes.
Starting on the 17th.
17th through the 25th. And the Honorable Karen B. Johnson Library downtown, 99 Clinton, you can vote there. And another thing, too, if you have a question, call the Schenectady Board of Elections, and they'll help you. So how can you be reached if someone wanted to learn more about you? Say people see you around, but they really wanted to read up on you. How can they find out more about you?
Of course, we have some information on the city website. I have a campaign website. We do Facebook posts. And for the last 30 years, my cell phone number has been on every business card, every piece of stationery, any public announcement I do. So I take phone calls from people all the time, try and be accessible. I've found in the mayor's role more lately, sometimes the number of calls come in and it gets backed up, so I can't take every call initially. And it may take me a while to get back to people, but always have tried to be open, accessible, and
good.
Available for the public.
That's beautiful. And, I want to just thank your team down at the office at City Hall. They were so kind and so gracious to me. And also, and I know that you have a whole campaign team, but I also wanted to give thanks to Open Stage Media, and that's where we're actually doing this video today. And I know they come down every time there's a city council meeting and videotape it. So I just wanted to give some props out to them.
It's a great thing to mention. It's I consider one of my greater accomplishments, because when I was, before I was mayor, city council president, led the effort to shift who the public access provider was, and took it away from the old Schenectady Cable Access Committee and moved it over to Open Stage Media, where under my leadership we went from one channel to where now it's broadcast on 3 channels. So there is the public access channel, there's a government channel, and an education channel. And then under the team that's in place here with Philip Morris and Proctors, have done more of the YouTube, other methods to distribute the media, and have upgraded the video capabilities. And, we are now in a state-of-the-art studio, which I was just learning before we started this, some of the podcasting that they're looking to do. So it is transitional in terms of that old model of television broadcasting to an interactive platform that people should be fully cognizant and aware of, that they can come in and use these resources, a lot of times for free or for a nominal cost, to help message things that they may be interested in, other activities within the community, and just general points of interest. That it's you've got such an impressive record here of doing that for, again, a couple of years.
Thank you very much.
But people sometimes take the things for granted or don't understand some of the opportunities that are out here. You're talking about, people who don't feel there's job opportunities and misengaged. It's how do you get that information out? How do you match it up with people so that they do understand what's out there, what the requirements are in things
Yes.
that they can take advantage of personally or collectively within the community. So it's their family, friends,
Sure.
neighbors.
Sure. And what you and I have in common is that I love Schenectady, my hometown, and you love Schenectady.
Yes, it's
And
a
I
great
and
place.
and it shows.
And-
It shows.
And it's just when you walk down the street, and yes, sometimes there's things that we'd like to change and make better, but you feel the energy, you feel the excitement, the good things that are happening within our community.
Yes. So let me ask you this. I'm going to shift gears a little bit here. So, how did you feel, Mayor, when you first found out that the president of the city council, who is the Honorable Marion Porterfield, was going to be running to want to be the mayor? When you first heard it?
Well, I think Marion had been positioning for over a year without formally telling me. When we actually met and she told me she was running, she told me what a great job I had done as mayor and said that she thought she would be a stronger candidate for the Democratic Party. I told her that I disagreed with that assessment, that I was going to seek re-election. And again, my prognosis has played out. She hasn't been able to raise the money, hasn't been able to do the messaging, and I don't believe is strengthening not only the Democratic Party, but the position of mayor going forward. I've worked with Marion for a long time. I like her. She's a good person. The skill set is different. I believe that at this point in time, I'm the best one to serve the people of the city as their mayor. But I, again, look forward to continued working with Marion on different projects and things within the community where we can all add value to it.
So I want to bring up this that was in the Gazette, if I may.
Sure.
This was, it was in the paper. You and Marion, you had a debate down at the Schenectady County Community College, which is SUNY. I think a lot of you saw that. It was right in the very next day it was in the paper. And it says here, McCarthy Porterfield clash in primary debate. Did you clash?
I think the headline is a little more dramatic than the actual debate. We answered questions, articulated our positions, but again, I consider Marion a friend. We're not looking to embarrass each other or do some of the inflammatory things that happen at the national level or even state level. We're trying to project an image of respect, dignity, and quality discussion within the community on who should be the leader for the next 4 years.
Because I watched it on television. I know OSM videotaped it. I watched it. And then I've watched many city council meetings. And sometimes people come there and they say stuff. And I'm wondering to myself, and I know a lot of other people are wondering the same thing. How do you keep your cool when people come up and say all kind of things to you?
It's unfortunately the world we live in now where people do say things that are solely designed to be inflammatory, that are factually incorrect, that are flawed in their thinking. But again, it's free speech. And so people get to say it. I believe the public at large understands that. They filter it out. And the longer I've been around, I realize that people really have a strong element of common sense in it so that they can understand something that's true, something that is factually correct, and they discount those inflammatory things and things that are just designed to divide people or create public discourse that nobody really benefits from. People aren't looking to solve solutions. They're trying to create what I would call artificial divisions within the community.
The Schenectady City Council has an amazing situation that's happened where there are more people of color on the city council than ever before.
Right.
Correct?
Yes.
So tell us about how is that? How does that feel and what's that like?
Well, again, it adds diversity. It adds different skill sets. And, color is one of the factors, but you have to look at the individuals in what is their background, what is their skill set that they're adding. Individuals always want to focus on different problems. In some of it, learn public sector, there's two things. One, things that you want to do, and then you tend to be driven by events. Things happen that shift your focus where you have to put your resources in place. You look at George Floyd, a tragic thing, but it was a line drawn in the sand that solidified public opinion on some of the inequities that still exist within our society. And I say, it's a flaw, not only racism, but there's discrimination based on sex, based on age, based on factors that we hope as human beings we don't make decisions on, that we put those aside, that we look at individuals, we see that true value that is within the person. And it's unfortunate that we don't do enough of that. And again, some of the artificial parameters still divide us. And so I think you're always doing a great job here of bringing people in so that the community can see them in a more informal, realistic setting. That's why I've always enjoyed being on your show, having conversations with you, and just general discussions.
Yes, thank you. And even when I see you out at some event or a fair, you're always kind to me, always. So you have a lot of endorsements, Mayor. You're saying now you have even another one?
I don't know if we've formally announced it. We'll announce it here on
Can we
your
do
show.
that?
But
Oh, good.
I was fortunate to pick up the endorsement of the Capital District Building Trades a few days ago. Again, have enjoyed working with them. And that's a group, again, it's union jobs. They've benefited from the activity within Schenectady, whether it's Rivers Casino, other projects here, jobs at GE. Those are things that add real value to middle class and create job opportunities.
Yes.
And having said that, I will do a little plug for them that in the building trades, the electricians, the plumbers, carpenters, painters, they are looking for members so that people watching this show, who are talking about job opportunities, they should reach out. And if we can either call my office or go directly to those union halls to get people in, give them an opportunity to, have a good career and not only help build Schenectady, but help build the capital region.
So have you ever at any time said something or did something that you wish you hadn't have done or that you regret?
Yes. I made the announcement yesterday, too, that we took and moved the Statue of Liberty out of the park across from the community college. It's created some angst within the community, and I did the formal announcement yesterday that we're going to move the Statue of Liberty back to Liberty Park or Gateway Park in the next month or so.
Okay. So we're just about out of time, isn't that?
It goes by
too,
so fast.
It's too fast. So I have two questions coming from the community. May I ask those of you now?
Sure, fire away.
Okay. The first one is from Stan. He lives in Goose Hill. And he says, we need more for the children in all areas of Schenectady this summer. All areas.
Well, we're trying to reestablish, not trying, we're actually reestablishing a summer employment program for youth in the city, putting people to work in our parks and other city venues. I was fortunate to be able to hire Willie Dean, who's great history as a basketball player here.
I know him.
Rising Stars. He's the director of parks now. He's putting that summer program together. It's a little bit rough because we haven't done it for almost 40 years. So he's got to kind of start from scratch, but we're looking to create those opportunities. And it's not just the city. We have to work with the school district, other community organizations, providing opportunities for kids during the summer. And it's kids themselves have different desires. Some kids just want to play baseball, just want to play basketball. It's how do you take the kid who just wants to play basketball and get them to play baseball, or maybe go to the golf course once, so that they understand in life there are different opportunities, so that when they go out there, they have exposure to things that they may not be aware of. And those become career paths that they can follow later in life. And to also understand, if you want to be a carpenter, what is the pathway to get into the union, to become an apprentice, to do it? If you want to work at Global Foundries, what math courses do you have to take? What programs do you have to study to be able to engage in those leading edge technology employers that are in the capital region? So we're excited about it. The city is fully engaged in it. And again, just having the opportunity to talk here on the show, hopefully it'll raise the awareness for people in the city.
Lois, she lives in Hamilton Hill. She wants to know what you're doing to get the votes of people of color, getting their votes.
I have been in every election district, have tried to knock on every door. Some doors I've been to 2 times now, but I want everybody to get the opportunity to meet me, to talk to me. We're doing aggressive outreach with direct mail, with phoning. I want, as you said, everybody to vote. We have a diverse community. People bring strengths, bring talent there. I want it to be a city that represents everybody. So whether it's gender, whether it's race, whether it's age, neighborhood you live in, I want people to participate. I want people to feel part of the renaissance that's happening in Schenectady. And I know there's still levels of inequity, but that's why I believe that I'm the best one to continue on. We have done a tremendous job of rebuilding downtown. We have $250 million in investment in affordable housing in the neighborhoods. That is a team that I've put in place. And again, I believe that we're the best ones to continue that going forward, to deal with some of the inequities that exist and create greater opportunities going forward for the residents of this community.
Gee whiz, it's something. Wow. Give your information again so that how you can be looked up or reached. So if anyone wants to.
My cell phone is the best, 518-424-0483. Some people don't want their cell phones out there. You can text me, call me, say hello.
Yes. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. And one last question is, there is a huge faith-based community out here. And these are believers who want to know about you, your faith, and your faith-based, the basis of how strong your faith is. Will you answer that?
Yes. Born and raised as a Roman Catholic. Very proud of that. Was an altar boy. It's one of in the Catholic faith, the church network here is very strong. We have a wide and diverse faith-based organizations and churches within the community. And it's one of the things that I've said since I've been mayor. The things that used to identify neighborhoods were the school you went to and the church you attended. And we have gotten away from that, where sometimes there's division or lack of strength in some of those groups. Schools and churches you used to walk to. That doesn't happen anymore. People, you go to one church and you drive 20 miles to go to it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I still look at that old model of how do we reinforce, how do we support the faith-based communities, how do we build those relationships with the schools, and that really is what strengthens the neighborhood. And when you have those good things happening, it displaces the negative things that are happening.
Wow. Mayor Gary McCarthy, thank you very much. You are a gentleman, and I just truly appreciate you to no end. And thank you, because because I know you're busy and I know you've got a campaign you're running. But thank you for coming to be with
When
me.
Carla Page calls, I stop. Everything shifts. But it's great to be here on the show, and again, here within the OSM facility.
Thanks again.